as due. Okay, I come pay my toll. I'm going to do your hair while I yap at you nonstop about Survivor. I like this little, there's a scientific word for what we do, it's like when those birds eat, like, disease parasites off of a hippo's back, like that's symbiotic. We have this symbiotic thing where I get to yap, you get a little relaxation. So let me just show you what I brought, and then also I'll just let you know we're talking about this season of Survivor. I'm not all the way up to date, I'm like one episode behind, but who's most recently gotten out is David. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. And then I got this LA Kings bag for free. Let me just show you what we're working with. I'm gonna hide some of this from you because I have 2 surprise props for the end that you can't see. Oh, I just dropped a bunch of hair ties in case you want to do like braids or like ponytails, or like ponytails into braids, bubble braids, fishtail braids, just a bunch of ponytails or ponytails. I'll put those there. Of course, like a little spritzy spray for you. And then a hairbrush. And then, oh my gosh, I have like, what was that? Okay, I am struggling to find clips, but I got one little clip, and I feel like that'll be fine. Because this is mostly like, it's not like we're going out, it just is mostly for fun. So, and then, I brought this, and I feel like you're really gonna like it for like a little scalp massage. Yeah, it's awesome. So, let me dump some stuff here. I think I'm gonna start, and then there's like 2 little surprise fun props at the end. It's my nose ring, like, and if I ever look like I have a silver booger, I need you to tell me, because it's like my nose ring is the like L-shaped ones, right? So it like comes out at the bottom, and then people think I have a booger, and it's embarrassing. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm gonna talk about Survivor season 48. I'm so excited for 50. And first I'll get in with the scalp massage. I'll put a little nutrient stuff on there first. Okay, perfect. And let's get in. Okay, what do you know about this season of Survivor? Yeah? Okay, good. Nothing. So, I guess I don't even know where to start. I guess the beginning is probably the right place to start. So I think off the top of my head, it started with this girl. I want to say her name was Stephanie. She was blonde and she wore a fun hat. And she was like one of those players that you see and you're like, oh no, would that be me on Survivor? Because I think, okay, it has been at least a month since I met this woman on television, so I don't like 100% know if I'm right. I feel like she was a small business owner, so that's pretty awesome. How's your scalp feel? Good? Yeah. So she's a small business owner. Maybe I could be making that up. But she was very like a little woo-woo. Like I feel like she was talking about like astrology and feelings. It was just like, let's all be friends. And like I don't even really remember, like there wasn't like a big flame out this season. Like remember when I told you about Bonu? Yeah, we did not have to go through a Bonu this time, and that was amazing. But there was no Bonu, there was no like that poor therapist who was having Nick with Charles on the island and like quit immediately. I mean, I think she was technically like voted out, but she was like, get me out of here and give me a cigarette. Which is why smoking is bad, because it could hurt your Survivor abilities, which I do think you would be so good on Survivor and you should just try out. Okay, anyway. Back to the scalp massage. So that's kind of how we started, and I feel like Act 1, she was on the green team, and I do feel like recent Survivor has been like, okay, good scalp massage. Let's move into the brushing. I'll just get a little detangler in here. like recent Survivor has been like, you know, you do have a lot of like the first tribe to fail out, like kind of stays down bad for a good amount of time. And this season it was the green tribe. It had been yellow for a long time. Like yellow was low key kind of cursed for a while there. Let me just get around back. Yeah, yellow was cursed for a few seasons, but then we had like this season it was the green team, and like the main character of the green team was Say. And like I honestly, like, I had friends hated her, did not like her at all, and I thought she was fun because I felt like she was like out there playing the game like a game, and like I felt like she was having fun. Like she literally chased this girl Mary around the island because Mary like ended up on the outs, but Say like kind of came in big energy and then like ended up with like an idol, so everyone was like kind of scared of her, I think. So she ended up not being the first boot, and like blonde hair, big hat lady gets out, which is fine because I felt like Say really carried the first act of this season of Survivor because like, again, like she was intense, and I totally understand people like not wanting to deal with someone that intense, or like people being like, oh, like she's not being nice, because she was like very blunt, like exceptionally blunt. Okay, so yeah, she's like very blunt, like exceptionally blunt, and kind of like put her foot in her mouth, but like I feel like she was just like really excited to be out there, and like really was like gaming and not like, I don't know, like people who play Survivor too hard and like metagame it. She was literally like, Mary's on the outs and I'm going to follow her and make sure she doesn't get an idol. Like it was intense. So, and like I was laughing. I thought it was so hilarious. And like it seemed like at one tribal council, like Mary and Say were like, we really respect each other. Like we're on opposite sides, but we like playing this game together. And I kind of liked that energy, which I feel like Mary kind of dropped as the season went on. So that kind of bummed me out. But I was like, you know me, I'm always like picking my Survivor crush of the season, and like, which honestly I don't really know if I have a Survivor crush this season, which is crazy of me. My Survivor crushes usually don't do that well though, so I guess I'm not cursing anybody, because who was it? There was a guy last season who literally the episode I declared him my Survivor crush, he got out. I was like, oh, this is why I can't crush. I sink ships with my Survivor crush. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I was like waiting for, because I really wanted Mary and Say to like, I was like, they're in love, they're gonna fall in love, which is like not true and weird because they're real people and this is reality television. But I was like, if this was not reality television, they would be in love. And also I wanted them to like join up together because Say got like totally betrayed by this guy Cedric, who my friend was like rooting for because he's a surgeon, and she's always like, Vic is always like, well, this is who they are in real life and therefore they'd be good at the game. And I love her takes because it always makes me giggle, because whenever it backfires, she's like Cedric started kind of like betraying her, and she was like, he can't be my surgeon, not my surgeon. I wouldn't let him hear me with her surgery. It kills me. I think about it all the time. But anyway, Cedric was friends with this guy who like lost his vote, and then they were like, we're gonna vote out Say, but this guy didn't tell Cedric that he didn't have a vote, so like it was literally impossible to vote out Say. But Cedric is like siding with this guy. Mary is like getting out of it so hard, which is awesome because Mary was like supposed to be on the chopping block, and as far as I know, she's still in. And I honestly, like, if she's still in when I watch the episode that like just came out yesterday, then I know, like, I don't know, she might make it to the end. I don't know if she'd be like a winner, because she's kind of like, it's hard when you're coming from the bottom like that, because she is kind of like a Survivor leech, and then like you get the people who kind of had a better start who get to be like, well, I carried her to the end because I had leverage. But like, I guess you could argue like it's more impressive to make it to the end without leverage. But she just kind of, her game got sunk again, but she survived a sinking before, so she might survive a sinking again. I'm gonna clip some of this back. Where'd my clippy go? Dude. Oh, here it is. Let me sum this up. Yeah, but so yeah, the heat is like immediately off of Mary because they're all focused on like trying to get it Say out, but they don't have the votes. And then Cedric is like actively betraying Say, and I think it literally came down to just Cedric voting. And even though he'd been siding with Justin this whole time, which was hilarious, he like eventually was like, no, keep Say, but get rid of Justin. But he was like, I need you to squash this beef. Like he was like really like dad, not actually fixing the problem thing with like Mary and Say. He was like, this, I'm pretty sure he went, cut it. I don't know if he did the move, but I'm pretty sure he was like, this ends here. Say and Mary, you have to get along if we're going to do this together, because they were going down to literally a tribe of 3. So he made like a whole show of like Say and Mary getting along, and then they like kind of pretended to get along, and there was this really funny meme someone sent me of them and like that, like those 2 kids in the like our get along shirt, but it was like Say and Mary. I thought it was hilarious. So yeah, they were my favorite dynamic, I think, of the whole season. And then kind of right when I thought they were gonna gang up and turn against Cedric, because I was hoping they'd be like, this boy has betrayed us, there was a tribe swap. And that's when kind of like the people who really became the main characters, because I've been really rooting for Eva, who's like a hockey player. She's also I think the first player on Survivor who's ever like talked about being autistic, so that's really cool. And she's like literally like Hercules, like she's just like super buff hockey player. Like she kind of got golden, like I liked her episode 1 because she got like big golden retriever energy, because they were building the shelter and they were literally like, okay, go get wood, and she was like, I get wood, like I get sticks now. And she shows up with arms of sticks and is like, I get sticks, I'll go get sticks, I get sticks now. I don't know why I'm Russian about it, but she was like, I don't know, like it was literally like she looked so happy, and it made me happy. And she's great at challenges. I love seeing a woman in the challenge beast space. And she's on a tribe with Joe, who she like he was the first person she opened up to about her autism on the island, and that's like a really big plot line. And then he was like, I'm with her, she's like my daughter, and we were all crying about it. And then he was also in another alliance of Californian, who were a bunch of guys from California who call themselves the California Girls, which was, I loved that alliance because California girl. And then yeah, I honestly feel like they're kind of the core, because it's Eva, Shaheen, and Joe have really been like powerful in this game. And they were like, Shaheen and Joe were part of the California Girls with this guy Thomas, and then Joe's like really tight with Eva, and then like they kind of got like a strong people thing going as we got further into the game. What else? Oh, I should actually clip this piece of hair back. Yeah, I'll keep playing with it, don't worry. Yeah, so Eva, and okay, so then what else? So basically there's like a tribe switch up, so, and that's what breaks away that like group of 3, which I feel like effectively ends Act 1 of Survivor, where we had like Mary and Say being kind of the like main characters of Act 1 in my mind, or like the funniest characters. And you know, there's like side things going on, you're kind of building up these like strong people alliances that become more relevant to the merge. But basically when they get divided up, Cedric and Say end up on the same new team, and then this new group ends up as the green team, and the green team ended up being Shaheen, Thomas, like it was some of the California girls, right? Was it Shaheen, Joe, Thomas, and then who else was on that tribe? Kyle. That's where we really start to see Kyle. Kyle and Camilla. Kyle and Camilla are also there. And like Kyle and Camilla, this is where we see them start to blossom, because they're like, oh, we're like not working together. I don't really know each other. We don't really know each other well. And they kind of like, because they were like paired with the California girls, so it seemed like pretty easy. It's gonna be Kyle or Camilla here, because the California girls are all from the same tribe. They know each other, and they have this like under alliance. But basically, Kyle and Camilla. Okay, so green goes to tribal. I'm telling this so well, aren't I? Green goes to tribal. They're like cursed, because green had lost every challenge when it was different people, when it was Say and Mary's team, and then green goes to tribal again. And basically, like, what am I saying, guys? What am I saying? Green goes to tribal, and oh yeah, and it's the California girls, and this is where we see Kyle and Camilla blossom. Sorry, I'm repeating because I lost my train of thought. But it's like, basically, Kyle and Camilla convinced the California girls that they didn't know each other at all, but really they were actually really close. And then Kyle, Camilla, Shaheen, and Joe all like connect emotionally. Like we see this spot, like this scene where they're all kind of talking about like different like like their parents all like faced like different like societal like big hurdles that they had to like jump over. I don't remember all the details, but it was basically like they all had like kind of these similar backgrounds, and like they really like admired their parents, and their parents like really had to go through all this adversity. So like they kind of bonded in that way, while Camilla and Kyle were being like, oh, we don't really know each other that well, so we don't really have a thing. Like we'll both work with you to get the other one out. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But that's them. Then they're telling each other information. So then, because Thomas, the third California girl, had gone on a journey, and he got something on the journey. I literally don't even remember what it was. But he gets something on the journey, and he's like decides not to tell them like what he got on the journey. And then so Kyle and Camilla like find out that he lied slightly about what the journey was, and decide to like blow up that lie in his face. And basically they start a rumor like with the other California girls that Thomas lied to them, which is true, and that he has an idol, which is, I believe, false. And then they create all this like commotion over it, and they build this relationship, and the California girls are like, this might be crazy, but we don't trust Thomas anymore, and we're really connected to you. So boom, they kill off Thomas. He's murdered dead. I'm kidding. Because it's reality TV. They get to go on a vacation after, I think, because they got out pre-merge. And then they get to eat food instead of starving on an island and getting sunburned. So I think they're fine. Although it's gotta hurt. Anyway, so Thomas is out, and then what's really funny is we get a reprise of the Say Cedric drama, because they're on the same team, and the team that they get out, they lose next. So then the next vote, Say and Cedric are like supposed to be working together, but Cedric's with like Mitch and Chrissy, who both started on the yellow team, and like Mitch is like a gym teacher, and he's really cool and like very charismatic. I think everyone likes Mitch, but he doesn't have like a lot of strong allies. Like I think he's one of those people who just like unfortunately didn't like build, there's like just a big alliance who's kind of running this game, and Mitch is not in it, but also everyone's kind of scared of him because they do feel like he would win it because he's just so charismatic, cool, and everyone really likes him, and he like works with kids. So yeah, like Mitch is like Mitch and Chrissy are kind of like they're from his tribe, and then they're from the same tribe, and then obviously we have Cedric and Say, and then there's this third girl or fifth girl, Bianca, who's the only person from the purple tribe, and she's like, ruh-roh, I'm in the middle. And then she spends most of the episode having this really great handle on things where she's like playing both sides, because also she went on the journey and she lost her freaking vote, so she's in the middle and doesn't have a vote, so she's trying to keep that to herself, which is the same thing that happened to that pizza guy who Cedric was friends with the last time he was at tribal council, and then found out that his ally didn't have a vote. But somehow Bianca finds herself in the middle and has everything set up that Say is gonna get booted out, because honestly she's really good. Like, Cedric is not an ally to Say. He turns against her at every point possible, and I feel really bad for Say, and I feel like Say should be livid. And then what's going on? Yeah, so Bianca's like right in the middle, has it basically going to Say, and then she going on Say, like it's literally like so set on Say, and then right before tribal she's like, I actually have this connection with Cedric, but I don't want to lie to him. I'm gonna start like braiding and tying stuff. Okay, she's like, I don't want to lie to my friend Cedric. So right before tribal council she goes up to him and she's like, okay, here's the deal. It's definitely going on Say. I don't want you to feel blindsided at all. Just so you know, I don't have a vote, but it's under control, so just don't do anything. And he's like, whoa, what do I do? And then he freaks out, but then we see nothing else because it's right before tribal. And then somehow the votes go towards Bianca, and it's like Say votes, I think either Chrissy or Mitch, who she thought they were gonna vote for, but then Say kind of gets blindsided because she doesn't get voted out because the votes go to Bianca. And then at the very end we see Chrissy going, did you see how many votes were in there? I feel like she has like a southern accent. I don't know. She's like, did you see how many votes were in there? No. It's like, it's really good voice. I love her voice. Like it's kind of like Sue's, like tapioca. Like I feel like it's a big, like, I'm very reminiscent of Sue's tapioca voice. But yeah, basically, so somehow that means Chrissy was looped in. She must have been looped in by Cedric, but Say was not looped in, and Say was big mad because she got betrayed again. But then, like, it's also really funny that Cedric was basically gonna betray Say, like, no problem. But then he got again by people who didn't have a vote. And it's like literally that, like, it's weird that it happened twice. Two nickels Doofenshmirtz meme, because it's literally like, if I had a nickel for every time one of my allies didn't have a vote and didn't tell me, I'd have 2 nickels, which is not a lot of nickels, but it's weird that it happened twice. And it happened twice to like literally, like, he was at every tribal council, one tribal council off, the next tribal council he's at, he got again by someone who didn't have a vote. So Bianca definitely should not have told them, and should have just like rid the coattails of that and done get damage control at the end. But like, she was besties with Thomas, and I'm sure they had a fun time complaining about the game in Ponderosa and then on their vacation, and hopefully they got to like read some good books and drink some margaritas or something. So I think it all worked out. And then eventually they merge. Survivor does a bunch of shenanigans. Pre-merge when they're all on different teams, and Eva and Joe, who are besties, are like separated. Eva like really struggles in a challenge, and this is like a monumental Survivor moment that everyone will remember forever. Eva's really struggling in a challenge, and she's like kind of having like a meltdown where she's like, I don't understand why I can't do this, because also like, you know, she is like an athlete. Like, she has not really seen a physical, like, it's the first physical challenge that actually like she is struggling to overcome out on the island, and she kind of like, she gets into like extreme overload. And like, she had told Joe like what to do when she has a meltdown and like how to ground her, and she's like having this overload. Joe's like on the sidelines now. I'm like getting chills. I'm getting chills right now. Joe's on the sidelines, like not even on her team, and being like, you got this, like, you got this, girl, it's okay, I believe in you, like, calm down, just take a breath, you got this, like really being supportive, and then like she finally does it, and her team like is roaring, like it's overwhelming. Everyone's like touching her, which has to be so overwhelming too, because she's still like, you can tell that she's like struggling to physically regulate because she's in so much overwhelm. But basically like yeah, Jeff's like, and like Joe's kind of like, I'm gonna go in the corner. Joe's like, all his shots are literally him like hunched over, like, but like with love in his eyes, if that makes any sense. Like really taking care, like really worried about her, because he's like, she is very much like his daughter on the island. She is his island daughter, and he's like, he wants to take care of his girl. And then Jeff is like, you want to go hug her? And he's like, yes, I do. And then he like hugs her and helps her calm down, and they like breathe together, and she calms down. And then Eva decides to open up to the whole game, like everyone in the game, like what happened and like why Joe needed to help her. And like it's like this beautiful moment where she's like, you know, like, and Jeff's all like, and it's not about the game anymore. I don't know why he's Southern. Everyone's Southern because he says fixins. So, but Jeff's like, you know, it's about more than just the game. It's about like people and human connections. And like a big thing for Joe is like, he's like, you know, if this was my daughter, I'd want someone out here looking after her too and caring for her. And like, this is like a person, and like we're all just people who like need support sometimes. And then Jeff starts crying because Jeff's like, I'm a dad, and if that was my daughter, it's really a lot of dads going, if that was my daughter, and then everyone crying. And it's so well earned, and it was, I don't know, a really beautiful Survivor moment, because you love to see when they like actually, like you love to see people being people. So I feel like that was the best moment of the season, and that's kind of why I feel like people like, I like would love to see Eva win. I feel like Joe's like definitely a front runner, because he's like golden boy, and that kind of goes into the merge, because in the merge there's this guy David, who's also like, David is a stunt double, and his like story in society, in like reality, is like pretty much a bummer. No, it's a bummer. His story's a bummer. I don't know. But it's like, basically he's on Survivor because he's a stunt man, and he doesn't make enough money, and his girlfriend won't marry him because she wants to have kids. And it's like, David, I get it. None of us can afford kids. And then it's like sad, because it's like, but you should get to be with the person you love. But like, if you want to have children, you gotta figure that. It's very complicated. I've never seen anyone be that honest about like the reality of like finances on choosing your life partner ever, especially not on television like that. So I don't know, I felt like that was very that's a very interesting story to go into Survivor with, which like kind of like reminds me of like when Kenzie was like in her final tribal, and they're like, what are you gonna do with the money? And it's like, you know, like it feels like the best answer to that question is like, I'm gonna invest in other people and charity, and I'm an altruist. But Kenzie was just like, I want to have a family, and like it's hard out here, like how do you even do that? Which like, I literally, how do you even do that? And then she won Survivor, and then she had a baby, and she was like, I did what I said I was gonna do. I got $1 million, and I got pregnant. Which, if you gave me $1 million right now, I might also have a baby. So, you know, get it. I feel like, is that like how Gen Z is gonna have kids? We all have to slowly win Survivor, one Gen Z family a year, or 2 Gen Z families a year based off of the Survivor winner. That sounds about right. And so then at the merge, David kind of comes back in, and then he's like one of the strong ones, and like basically kind of starts, because like Eva kind of connected with him, because she was like, I'm strong, he's strong, and they were on like a team in the middle together that we never really saw go to tribals. They were kind of irrelevant. And then Eva gets to reunite with Joe, and then Joe has, again, his tight thing with Shaheen, and now they have Kyle in there. So then they kind of build this alliance of like strong guys, like himbos, I guess it's rude to call them hippos because they are quite smart. But you know, it's like the beefcakes. I've been calling it the Beefcake Alliance, which I can't believe they have not co-opted that for themselves. But the beefcakes are David, Joe, Eva, Shaheen, Kyle, and then eventually David brings in Mary, and they really did not develop how that relationship became tight on screen. They were just eventually like, by the way, these two are besties and it's relevant. Yeah, what time is it? Anyway, so yeah, so then David kind of creates a strong boy alliance, and then Merge, Say gets knocked out right before becoming on the jury. And basically it's like, and do more brushing. I got bored of the other stuff. I got bored of the ponytails. So strong alliance is happening, and basically what's happening is Kyle and Camilla are like on opposite sides and secretly working together, and people don't really suspect it. Although at one point, David wanted to get Camilla out, and he suspected that Shaheen was working with Camilla, and that caused a whole upheaval. And Say gets out in the crosshairs. Say does not make jury. Cedric gets out, same episode, but makes jury. I'm Team Say in this situation. So Cedric's on the jury, and then Chrissy was like pretty vocally against the like strong boy thing. Was like, guys, why are we letting them gang up on us? Because it is like every challenge has just become a showdown between like David and Joe, David and Eva and Joe. Like it's just like a strong people thing. So like Chrissy was like, was very vocal about it, and then Camilla's always like, guys, we gotta befriend the people who are gonna be on the jury. I don't know why I did that to her. Camilla's always like, she's really like playing herself up as, I am not a threat, and I do feel like people believe it, and she kind of doesn't even need to say it, but like that means she's doing her job well. I do think she could be a winner because her and Kyle again have the secret thing going, and when things got pointed at Camilla, they were able to pivot it so that it looked like Shaheen saved Camilla. So then David narrowed in on Shaheen, and then because David was narrowing in on Shaheen, that created chaos, and then boom, we're to where I am, and that's how they got David out. And I don't really know what's gonna happen next. I feel like a Joe win or an Eva win is pretty straightforward. Like, stay strong, make it to the end. Both of them have to be in the top 3. I don't think, because like both of them are like, we're playing clean games, so like they can't betray each other, and I don't think there's a way they make it to the end if they lose the like top dog power they have. So they just have to keep challenge beasting and make it to final 3 together, and then it's kind of up to like who sells themselves better and who has better relationships with everybody. And I don't really know if that is Joe or if that is Eva, and you never really know what people are gonna like what's gonna resonate with them at that phase. So and then Kyle and Camilla, it's kind of like, when are they going to reveal like how closely they've been working with each other, and like what that means and how they've like pivoted the game, because they do kind of have a like, Kyle's like the informant and he's building these relationships, and Camilla's like really helping like with the strategy and keeping track of where votes are, and also kind of like the other people who are, Chrissy's gone, so like Mitch, Charity's gone. I feel like it's, I guess Mary's part of the beefcakes now, so is it just Mitch and Camilla left on the outskirts? Mitch, Camilla, Star? I don't know. There might be a 4th person on the outskirts. But yeah, so it kind of depends on like when they reveal themselves, which could sink them if people turn against them quickly. I think what's best for Camilla's game is to use Kyle as a social stepping stone, but to not like to reveal that she's been masterminding it and like convince people like of her like strategic influence on Kyle, but she has to betray. I think she has to betray Kyle because Kyle is doing the relationship building end of their like con basically. So I feel like if we don't like reveal, if Camilla doesn't get rid of Kyle, then Kyle's a winner, and Kyle would be a good winner. I think Joe and Eva are kind of like golden boy winners. I think Mitch is like a good charismatic winner, but he hasn't had a lot of foothold in this game. I think Star has kind of also been like, Star is someone who I do think might make it to the finals, but she hasn't been part of the story I'm telling you, so that kind of tells me that she's not the winner, you know? Like, I think she'd be like an invisible edit winner. She is, like, she's had some really good moments and like some beautiful connections, like with Cedric and stuff, and even with Eva. She gave Eva an idol, which I don't like feel like built the relationship, unfortunately. I think Eva's kind of like, oh, I already had all my relationships, and like didn't like, and also like Eva like got the box that it was in open that Star couldn't get open, so it's kind of like, you solved it, you get the idol. So but now everyone knows Eva has an idol, so but yeah, I don't. And then and like I know Mitch is like on people's radar to get out because he's like charismatic, like because he's like beloved. So I feel like Star's probably number one for bringing along. I think Camilla's kind of maybe number one for bringing along if like she's like managed the perception, so she can pull a good final tribal and make sure Kyle's not in the end with her. Then maybe she's the next survivor. I think that might be cool. Shaheen, he's got some big things on the horizon. He's very perceptive, and I think he would have to like kind of take a stance to get rid of Joe and Eva and like betray them, like, and because like Joe and Eva are very much like, we're playing an honest game, so I think they're probably trying to get like Joe, Eva, Shaheen as their like ideal final three and be like, we are besties, or like them and Kyle. And so I think if Shaheen like betrays them and tries to bring like Star and Camilla to the end, like if Shaheen goes like betrayal mode and tries to like topple them in the next episode, that might work in their favor. I do think Joe's in danger the more I'm talking through this. Who else? And Kyle, I think if Kyle sits final three right now, with Camilla he's in, he wins it, because I do think he's built more of the like personal relationships on the jury, which Camilla's always talking about, but I don't think she like Camilla was like talking about how like these are the people who are gonna vote for us, we need them to still like us, but like Kyle's like building like actual like tangible relationships on screen, so that makes it seem more like he's gonna win. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go change my survivor prediction to making Kyle the winner instead of Camilla, because I think it's more of an uphill battle for Camilla. Thank you for helping me figure that out. Your hair is silky and beautiful, so let me just show you the two options I bought for hair accessories. I have shutter shades, right? I felt like we could put it on like the crown of your head. And they're like hot pink and fun and flirty. And then I also have like a little bandana, so we could do it like a little like the triangle, or we could do it like just like an actual like headband. Do you have a preference between these two? Yeah. Okay, I like the shutter shades, so I'm gonna just slide these on you. And okay, thank you for letting me dump about Survivor for like however long. Love this for us. And I hope you have a good day, or a good night, or a good whatever else you're doing. And bye. Bye.